Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to In the Streets with Big Stone. Today's a very troubling day for me because I'm trying to understand this. And for the longest, it's beating on me for the last 24 hours. Can an 8-year-old child commit suicide? And it perplexes me to know that if that is so, that simply means our younger mind is at risk. And we must do something about it. So hopefully, speaking with the Honorable Racy Matthews, we can clear up certain things for certain parents and let the truth be known about what is bothering our children here in Jamaica and what certain people needs to do about it. Honorable Racy Matthews, welcome once again, my brother.
Blessed love. Yes.
Racy, you're my friend for almost 20 years and I respect your intellectual capabilities. And that's why I seek this opportunity to speak with this brother. You know, I have to say this brother here, you know. Is it possible, Racy, for an 8-year-old child, whether it's a boy or a girl, to commit the ultimate act of taking his own life? Suicide.
Well, the first thing that we have to understand is the mind of the child. And within that 8-year-old phase, they are learning, they are on the learning curve. So they learn from the wider society, they learn from the immediate family, but essentially in this modern age, they also are socialized by the television, cable, the movies. So the amount of time that a child spends looking at the television, looking at both fiction, non-fiction, reality TV, they are now looking at it unsupervised. Sometimes parents are not there to point out very critical points to the child in sociology. So the child is left to make a determination on his or her own. One of the things that is also very important, the child sees a movie star killed on the television this week, and next week they see the same movie star again, alive and well. So in their mind, they are not rationalizing that it is acting. They are looking at the thought process that the person actually died and came back. So
television plays
a very critical role, and this is why movies are rated parental guidance, general, X-rated, A, are restricted because of the formative years of the child not being able to rationalize what he or she is seeing and put it into context. And this is something that is very evident within our society because, as they say, children
learn what they see.
Exactly. And without proper supervision from parents within the household or the extended family, and this is why the African says it takes a village to raise a child. So when the immediate parents are not there, the uncles are there, or the aunts, or the in-laws, they are all there to raise that child.
Let me understand now about peer pressure. You know, kids growing up with other children, and that particular child might have certain things because he's from a wealthy parent, and this child might not have it because, you know, he's from a poorer parent.
Definitely so.
You think that also plays a role?
Yes, that will impact on the child. Because, you know, even children growing up, one person gets a soft drink, that child wants one. And even when you're walking with a child, he might see someone with a toy that he wants, and he says, "Mommy, can I have it?" Mommy cannot afford it. And the child goes into a tantrum because he or she wants it. Now, that is now the role of the mother to explain to the child that we are not able to afford it because of our circumstances. Let me share this with you with one of my sons. At 9-year-old, he went to a supermarket and stole chocolate. And I did not beat him. I took him and bought him ice cream, and I explained to him what he did was wrong, why it was wrong, and that he would understand the difference between other person's property, his property, and property that you purchase. So I had to explain the sequence of events to him, and he has never done it. I didn't beat him. When you beat the child for an act like that and not explain to the child, then the child doesn't understand. So the child, as the beating is cool, they will do the same thing again.
Okay, that is such a fantastic truth that you speak of that experience with your child. But further on, before we actually got on the air, we were talking about yet another of your child that thought I've written to you via a letter stating that he has intention to kill himself.
Well, that again.
How did you deal with that?
It was a letter that he wrote to his mother.
How old was this child, by the way?
It should be about 10, within that period, between 8 and 10.
Between 8 and 10. Now, the reason why I'm asking you, I just want the audience to understand if a child actually at 8 years old, because this is what is bothering me, can an 8-year-old child actually concoct the idea of actually making the most ultimate of all decisions, and that is to take your own life, and that's where we are. That's why I'm digging so deep on this one.
Well, let us put it in context. 20 years ago, there was not so much information available to these children. So, in that space, and this happened could be about 30 years ago, because that child now is about 38. Now, the information was not readily available. Internet was not there. So when you look at the type of information that is impacting the children now, they are bombarded every day with new information. Now, with the process of rationalizing all and synthesizing that information to come to a decision, this is where the parents come in. Now, the child on his own, amongst his peers, they will talk about things that they see. So without the parents' supervision, they are going to come to their own conclusion.
Hence, a little bit more expounded on the letter.
Yes. So when my son wrote that letter at that time, I did not immediately address it. I monitored him for a couple days, and I realized that he was actually regurgitating. He was putting something in motion that he saw or heard.
Okay. So it wasn't an actual...
No, it wasn't that he was in depression or anything.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so, I saw that he was just repeating something he had seen. Possibly in a movie, he saw a child writing that letter to mommy. Mommy, I'm going to kill myself. So I think he did that because he actually hid it in the bottom of a drawer. That's how I found it. I went into the drawer looking for something and found the letter there.
Okay. Possibly it could also be written because he wants more attention from daddy and mommy. And you know, children have a way of saying these things for you to give them or pay more attention to them.
Yes.
Now, okay, I understand that thus far. Let's move on a little bit more and more touchier ground. This year, and we're in the month of June as we speak, possibly today is the 11th of June, there are news in the air and both television and in the newspaper that the statistic in one parish, and that is Westmoreland, of child abuse is at an alarming high rate of 500 plus. What are your thoughts on that? What is happening to our children in Jamaica? What is going on?
Well, there's a general neglect of our children. And to compound that problem is that there are old folk tales that people have. One in Jamaica is that if you have venereal disease and you have sex with a young child, a virgin, you will be cured.
That is so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Everybody ever even fathom that thought?
But when you look at the intelligence level, especially out in the rural areas, that they are not up to date with modern medicine, modern technology, people still believe these things. And they actually live it out. So we have to have a serious re-socialization program in which we inform these people of the do's and don'ts and break the myths that are out there. And this is something that I had put forward in a correspondence at our school some years ago. I'm the chairman for the Central Branch all-age school, and I deal with the youth at that level. And it is something that we have to get out the information to the youth and to some of the parents of these youth, because the adults are not able to guide the children. In some cases, I find the children actually informing the parents.
That is so sad.
So the literacy rate has to be addressed. And if you look at the literacy rate in the rural areas, it is worse than in the urban areas. But what we have to now look at is the creation of a homogeneous society.
And break that down, because my brother Racy always used such powerful word, homogeneous. Homogeneous society. Break that down so the common person in the mind can understand when we say that.
Marcus Garvey championed the cause for an egalitarian society, a society that is equal. Our schools, they have failing schools. You have what they call traditional high schools and non-traditional high schools, in which, quote unquote, the teaching is better in some schools, even though you are using the same curriculum from the Ministry of Education. So what we need to do is to level the playing field, that all schools are teaching at the same level from the same curriculum.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, speaking one-on-one with the Honorable Racy Matthews, Justice of the Peace, chairmans for many school boards and development programs and so on, a very influential person in Jamaica, and a very, 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 very good friend of mine and my mentor, Racy Matthews. Thank you once again, Racy.
Give thanks.
It's always a pleasure talking to you when I'm not so sure on certain things, because when I come out to our fan base out there in the world, we want to arm ourselves with the truth, because as they say, the truth shall set us free. Once again, from Big Stone in the Street with Racy Matthews, one love, one God, one aim,
one destiny.
Rastafari.